And hello, hello. How is everybody tonight? Sorry we're just a couple of minutes late here. Had a little technical snafu on my part, so I do apologize. Um, but I've got Mr. Brian McDaniel here, and he's going to, I just appreciate you, Brian, for doing my first interview, uh, live Hangout on Air interview with me. I'm going to be doing these frequently, and still kind of working out the format right now, but yeah, I think we'll roll with it and it'll be pretty good. So, um, just for just for the sake of full disclosure, I guess I should just let everybody know that Brian and I actually went to high school together in Middle Tennessee, and that's how we kind of knew each other from way back. And we'll kind of loop back around to that because I've got a few questions I'm going to ask that'll kind of get into that in a few moments. But Brian, if you want to take a few moments and just say hello to everybody and introduce yourself, let them know what you do, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Guys, I'm Brian McDaniel. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate you, Christina, interviewing me and giving me this opportunity. You're doing great on your webinars and your hangouts. I'm just tickled to death and proud of you for doing what you're doing. You're really grabbing the bull by the horns and really making this happen for you and your business. Tickled to death to be reconnected with you. And again, guys, it's just an honor to be here. And I hope through this interview that it'll help you in some way in your business.
Absolutely. So I guess I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and get started. And Brian, before we do get started, just let everybody know, I know you have a couple of businesses actually. You're L2 or L3 leader and L2 leader?
L1 pushing the door at L2.
L2.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
So Brian's a L1 leader in a system that both of us leverage. It's a training platform and system that both of us leverage for marketing called My Lead System Pro. And he's also got his own business, Carbon Copy. And Brian, you want to tell everybody what you do in your other business?
Absolutely. Long story. Don't want to, take too much time. I know Christina's got some questions, but because of network marketing and because of some things that transpired in my business life, if you will, I was able to become a Google certified partner. So now I handle advertising for clients all over the United States. I'm the guy that puts the banner ads up, the text ads, the YouTube ads, do Facebook pay-per-click, Bing, Twitter, LinkedIn, kind of a pay-per-click guru, if you will. That's my day job, if you will. I'm also in network marketing, and I use MLSP to not only generate cash flow, but to generate leads for my network marketing business and to sign new reps and really just to hang out with rock stars like Christina. The price of MLSP that you pay is way underpriced for the
Yeah.
value that you get. And I'm loving life working right here from home, Christina. You know that.
Yeah.
It didn't happen overnight, but it happened, and I've worked hard to get here, and I'm tickled to death to be here. And that's what I do. That's really the three ways that I generate an income, and I do it all from right here in front of this computer.
That's awesome. So let me start with my first question then. Brian, if you will, just take us back to the moment that you had when you had that self-talk and you realized that you just had to work for yourself. How did you get over the fear of leaving that security of that check? And what was the biggest thing to make you take that step? What kind of ushered you over that line?
I guess what really ushered me over that line, I'm going to mute Elroy out here.
Yeah.
Hello, Elroy. I guess what initially made me kind of advance and take that step, I can remember working at Fleet Guard, which is a local factory. I hated it, just drama all the time, and I needed to get out. I was involved with some, let's just say, some shady people. I was making good money, but not necessarily the way Uncle Sam would have you to make money. And I knew that I needed to do something different, and I wanted so bad to do something on my own. I actually looked at a local restaurant. It's up above the boat dock at one of the lakes here in Middle Tennessee called Sligo. It was a restaurant, a
Mhm.
motel, and went and talked to the banker. I was going to get into business for myself, period. That's what I wanted to do. And the banker told me point blank, he said, if you come up with $100,000 operating capital that's not borrowed for anybody, I'll give you the money you need to buy this restaurant, motel, and the land that came with it. So I walked into the banker's office 3 days later. I said, the money's in my account. Let's get the paperwork drawn up. Being a smart banker, which at the time I didn't think so, I was ready to rip his head off. But being a smart banker, he refused to give me the loan. Now, today, I'm very thankful that man did me that favor. I really am. But I still had to get out of what I was in, the situation that I was in. So I thought I'd get into the car business because I love people. Love people. I had no idea how bad people hated car salesmen. Blew my mind. I about starved to death for 2 years because I'm the kind of person, just pop off at me and see how things go for you. That's just how I am. That's the way Christina is. I remember going to high school with you. We don't put up with no BS, if you will. I mean, we're pretty well straight shooters. But what happened, I stuck with it because everybody told me I'd be crawling back for my job at Fleet Guard. And when I decide to do something, I go full force. Well, after that 2 years of struggling, I eventually accumulated a whole big customer base of business owners, people that liked the no-nonsense approach, people that didn't want to waste 5 hours at a car lot to save $600.
Right.
They just wanted to buy a car and have it delivered so they could start writing it off on their taxes, okay? So I did very, very well, got to making a 6-figure income in this business, and me and my wife, we had our first child. Never got to see my daughter much. I only had 1 day off a week. I was at the car lot all the time. Every time I scheduled a date with my wife at 5 o'clock when I got off, it'd be 11:30 before I got off. Every time I was supposed to be at something of my daughter's, a customer would come in and want to buy a car. And it made me so mad because I had things to do. I had a life to live. But because this guy wanted to come in and dicker around on a car for 4 hours, I had to stay. And it really pissed me off. It really did. I was at the point that I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I mean, I was about to snap. Christmas Day came. It was my daughter's first Christmas. I have a huge family, so we've got 4 family Christmases that I have to fit into 1 day instead of a week like I used to at my factory job. Like some of y'all may get a week off. You probably get more than 1 day. Now, some of y'all may not. Some of y'all may work on Christmas. I get that, okay? It would have been a whole lot better if I'd have been at work that day. That day did not go very well at all because of trying to cram all that together. And it was Christmas night 2008 that I made a decision that I was either going to make the big bucks and not raise my daughter and not see my family and put stress on my marriage and stress on my life, or I was going to do something about it. And against everybody else's judgment, against everybody else's opinions, against everybody else's advice, I walked out of my job December the 26th, 2008 to do my own thing. And I didn't really know what I was going to do. I just knew the only way I was going to do it was to do it. So that was the biggest thing that made me make the decision to own my life, is because I wanted to be the father my daughter deserved, and I wanted to be there. And it was just going to be a bad thing for somebody to tell me that I couldn't go to her dance recital, or that I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that with her. So I just made the decision that I was going to make this happen. Other people have done it. Why can't I?
Right.
So that's where the decision really came from, Christina.
And here's the thing. You were at a point where, most people have a hesitation of leaving their job, or a fear of leaving their job because of the perceived security around that.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, I can talk to you about perceived security. I'm telling you. You think you have a good, strong job, and then all of a sudden you see people in the next department whose job got discontinued and is going overseas, and they're having to train the people overseas to take their job. This is something that I've experienced a lot over the last 12 years. But then you have that. But then really, Brian, it came down to, for you, it sounds like, what does it matter to have the security of this check if I don't have my family, if I don't have my daughter, and if I don't have my wife, and if our home's not happy? So, that goes to speak to the why that can drive you to success. And it kind of it made me think about another question that I have, because you're one of those people that, I see that really puts an emphasis on your time value, more than money and other things. And that's one of those things that was kind of shocking when we first had our real kind of long discussion about things, working for yourself and everything. But you've said to me that you don't really desire to be a millionaire, and you just want to be able to live your life on your own terms. Did you always know that time was more valuable to you, or did some life event kind of push that into you, make you familiar with that?
I don't know that I always knew that time was more important to me than money. As you're young and as you're growing up, obviously money means something. When you got money, you can buy jet skis and you can buy boats and you can do all these things that you want to do. But as you start working and as you start having a family, I guess really my time, it just really irritated me when I wanted to go fishing on Tuesday and I couldn't because somebody else told me I couldn't. I mean, it really got under my skin. You can ask me to do anything in the world for you, and I'll bend over backwards to make it happen. But it absolutely irks me for you to tell me what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. I can't handle it. I mean, my skin goes from white to red very quickly. It just really gets under my skin. And I guess it was my daughter that really brought the time issue in because I wasn't hurting for money. I had plenty of money. I was making all kinds of money. And Christine, you know as well as I do, a six-figure income in Cookeville, Tennessee is smoking. Okay. So I was doing well, but I guess the biggest life event would be my daughter. You know, me going home and her being in the bed, me leaving in the morning and her being in the bed, and me just seeing her at lunch breaks here and there and then having to run off because a customer came in. I just want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and it doesn't take $1 million to do that.
Right.
My vision and my goal, and this is where I'm headed, okay? I mean, I don't care to tell you. I'm going to work 20 hours a week, and I'm going to make $10,000 a month. That's what I want to do.
Awesome.
You do the math on that, okay? I don't know how much that is an hour. I don't really care. As long as at the end of the month I've made 10 grand and I ain't put in the more than 80 hours for the month. That's where I
That's
want to be.
that sounds good to me, Brian. I'm telling you, that sounds good to me.
I want to work. I'm a driven person, so I want to have something to do. But I don't want to be a workaholic because I've been there before. And even in my business now, I told my wife, I retired my wife Thursday. She's at home. We're homeschooling the kids. I got back to work after watching the kids all summer yesterday, really back to work. And I told my wife last week, I said, look, come Monday, I'm going to hit this hard for 90 days. I got stuff I want to do. I want to get the momentum built up. I want to grow this business a major step in the next 90 days. And then I'll probably take a couple months off, deer hunt, eat a bunch of pies and turkey at Thanksgiving, and just chillax and enjoy everything. And then come January, I'll probably hit it again for another 90-day run. So I'm not afraid of work. I don't care to work, but I really want to get everything automated well enough to know that I can work 4 hours a day and do what I need to do. And
Do what
it's
you need to do.
very possible to do if you get focused.
Right. If you get focused and you have your business automated and you're able to really track things to be under to one thing that I've learned over the last probably 60, 90 days is just how important those 90-day runs are. And like speaking of doing a 90-day run now, basically we're amping up so that our first of the year is good, right?
Exactly. Exactly. A lot of people lay down in their business in the summertime.
Hmm.
Summertime's the most important time in the world to plant your seeds, to promote, to brand yourself, to get your whatever it is out in front of the general public because fall is harvest time. That's when it comes in. That's when your business is going to roll in good. January is always a good time to build a business. Always a good time to build a business. Everybody's got New Year's resolutions. They're looking to lose weight. They're looking to make more money. They're looking to whatever.
Hmm.
They're looking to do something different in January. So January, that's a great time to hit a 90-day challenge and run through. You're going to pick up a lot of people wanting to change their life, a lot of people that are sick and tired of the daily grind, and they've decided over the Christmas holiday they're going to do this thing. And y'all, it's really that easy, is to make that decision and to do that.
Well, now you said something a minute ago that really kind of brings me to my next question, because you were talking about really working hard in this next 90 days to really brand yourself and automate your business.
Hmm.
One of the first things that I learned from you actually is the importance of branding yourself, which means that you have to show yourself more. I remember that you actually almost didn't accept my friendship request and or respond to my Facebook message because I didn't have a picture of myself up. So if you'll just take for a moment, just for those people who are maybe new to marketing or maybe have been in marketing a while and not getting the results they deserve, could you speak to the importance of having a profile that brands you rather than branding a company or your favorite pet or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Social media is exactly what it is. Would you go to the club Friday night with a cat mask on?
No.
No. You want people to get to know you. You want to get to know people. It's social media. Put a picture of yourself up there, okay? It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you're into. It doesn't matter if you have some crazy redneck southern drawl. It doesn't matter, okay? What I learned a long time ago is the more you be you, the more people are going to find you that like you, that resonate you. Believe it or not, there's people out there just like you, and they're looking for somebody like you to help them, okay?
Mhm.
Trust me, there's a lot of people online right now that think I'm a prick, that don't like me, that can't stand me. I'm a dumb hillbilly hick to them. Whatever. I don't care, because there's a lot of people out there that like me, and the same goes for you. So be yourself. Put that personal profile up there. Make sure you put some information in about you. You know, Christina told you right there that I almost didn't accept her friend request. As a matter of fact, she had to reach out to me to find out why I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, I felt some kind of way about that.
But here's the thing. I saw the name and I'm like, I know her. But there wasn't a her there. You know, people get hacked on Facebook all the time. You know, I get friend requests. I got a friend request yesterday from a guy that I've been friends with on Facebook for 2 years. There's something not right about that. Okay, I can go to Facebook and steal your picture and put it on my wall right now if I want to. People have that access. So
Right.
I'm looking at it, and I started looking at our mutual friends, and I'm like, okay, who is this person? You know, how did they get to be mutual friends with these? I don't know if this is Christina or not. You know, I ain't seen her in years. I just not now is what I did. Not now. I don't know who this is. And I seen it pop up again, and I'm like, is this Christina? And then I reached out, believe it or not, I actually reached out to, I think it was Jill Gall. And I said, have you been talking to Christina Ervin? You know, is this her for real? Because there's no picture there, you know. So it's very important to put that up there. You know, if you've
Mhm.
got a picture of your cat, I might as well be sitting here thinking, well, this is a stalker.
Yeah.
Or, you know, this is some shady person. Or this is, you know, something's not right about this profile. People notice that stuff. You know, if you walk into the club Saturday night and your hair's on fire or you're carrying a shotgun, people are going to be a little iffy of you. You know, they're going to avoid you at all cost. So be yourself, be real, put yourself out there, fill out that information, and really just be yourself. Just be yourself. You know, I'm looking at Elroy down here at the bottom. You know, me and Elroy, we got to have us some goat head soup. That's a long story. That's an inside joke, but I like Elroy because Elroy's himself. He's
Mhm.
confident in himself. He doesn't try to pretend to be anybody else. He doesn't try to do things the way I do things. He's just a genuine, real person, and people like that. Well, at least me and Christina do. I don't know about
Yeah.
anybody else, Elroy, but I know me and Christina love you.
Yeah, me and Elroy have gotten pretty close over the last few weeks.
Elroy's awesome. He's a rock star in the making. Y'all keep your eye on Elroy. I'm telling you.
So that kind of makes me think too, Brian, because you were talking about being yourself and somebody having on a mask or something. To me, when I see profiles and people are so heavily branding whatever company they may be
Hmm.
involved in, to me, and this may or may not be a right thing, but this is how I personally feel. I'm a little taken back by them, and I think that that person is probably going to be one of those people that is going to vomit that company all over me as soon as they start talking to me.
Hmm.
Now, I think that this is also something that most other people think too, but I was wondering what your thoughts are on that matter.
Can I be brutally honest?
Well, I wouldn't expect anything else, Brian.
Okay, here's the deal. This is a reality check for everybody watching this webinar right now or watching the recording. I want you to stop doing what you're doing, and I want you to look at me right here in my eyes, okay? I'm going to break down some truth for you, and I'm telling you this because I want you to succeed. I don't care what anybody else has taught you. There's loopholes in some of the things that network marketing companies teach. I'm telling you right now, nobody gives a flying rat's rear end about your company, your service, or your product, or the next greatest thing about your scientist, about your leadership. They don't care. They don't care. They added you on Facebook or on Google Plus or on Twitter because they wanted to get to know you. And you went from being a cat lover and a gardener and a person that liked to shop at Macy's to being an absolute 100% XYZ company rep vomiting stuff all day long. People do not respond to that. If you're in network marketing, you've heard your leaders and your mentors tell you that people join people, not businesses. So why does it make sense to all of a sudden turn your page into a business page? If you want to talk business, if you want to talk shop, then you set up a Facebook page related to your business, and you bring people on that page that want to hear all about your super juice or, whatever it is that you sell through your network marketing company. That's what they want to talk about. So that's the place to do that. On your personal profile, you have to be you. If I know, like, and trust you, here's the thing. If Elroy sends me a message tomorrow and says, hey, Brian, I just started something new, and I want to know if you'd like to have a look at it, if you'd be open. My first response is, absolutely, dude, send it over to me, because I know, like, and trust Elroy, okay? But if all Elroy does is talk about his company all day long, and I know when he sends me a message he's going to pitch me on something, I'm not open. I don't even want to talk to him because he's not Elroy anymore. My buddy Elroy fell off the face of the earth 6 months ago when he joined XYZ company. And I'm not attracted to that. Nobody is. Everybody wants to be friends with people. So be yourself, build relationships, genuinely care about the other person's interest. Don't try to sign people up just to make a dollar. Sign people up because you want to make sure they're in on this. I remember I contacted Elroy when the 100-Day Business Builder come out. And I'm like, dude, you got to do this. And he's like, dude, I'm already doing it. And I'm like, what about you? And I went on. But I didn't know. I just wanted to make sure that, hey, I'm doing this. You're a perfect fit. Get on board. And I should have known Elroy was smarter than that because he had already jumped on before I did. He was fast on the draw. But see, me and him didn't have a conflict there because he knows I'm looking out for him. I know he's looking out for me. And we're cool with that because he posts stuff on his Facebook wall about the food he eats in Jamaica. He makes me hungry all the time. And he puts pictures on there of him and videos on there. And I just love looking at Elroy's profile. I like to comment and engage. But if Elroy put, a post up there about the latest, greatest miracle cure 18 times a day, every day, how am I going to engage?
Right. Because it may or may not be a common interest there.
Exactly.
I know that I was actually speaking with someone the other day and I actually have come to really like this person in a short amount of time. I really like their energy. And I said basically, we're going to talk more about taking your marketing to another level. But right now, let me give you a little tip. You're doing great introducing yourself, but then right after you're introducing yourself, you're throwing your company all over and blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you're in a company, the chances are you have a passion about that company, or you're trying to figure out how to get out of the company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a passion about that company, that's going to be somewhere on your page. People, when they get to know you, are going to start looking through your page anyway to decide whether or not they want to follow you or not.
Exactly.
So they're going to figure out one way or another what your company is. There's no need in doing all the screaming and sort of telegraphing it. Mm-hmm. So I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, absolutely. People are educated nowadays. And here's the thing. When people see your results and your success, they're just going to flat out ask you, hey, man, what are you doing? And guess what? At that point, your company doesn't even matter. The product doesn't matter. As Rob Forrest says, when you build that trust and rapport with people and they ask you about your business, they're open, they're interested, and the deal don't matter.
Yeah.
They're getting involved with you because you're somebody that can lead them and take them to where they want to go, and they know that because they see you fishing on a Tuesday afternoon while they're butt stuck at work. That's just how it is. People want what you want. So don't promote your company, promote yourself, promote your lifestyle, promote your results in a very candid way. Don't flash your checks. That just pisses people off. That just makes them not like you. But just let people know, hey, look, I just bought this new watch. It cost me about $800. Oh, by the way, I'm going fishing.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, how do you do that? I didn't tell everybody I just made $800, baby. A blind hog find an acorn every now and again. You got to prove long-term results, and you got to be somebody that's likable, that can help people. And you need to tell yourself that every day. You need to tell yourself every day, I'm a valuable person that can help people. What do I need to do today so those people can find me and interact with me?
Now, I got to rewind it just in case somebody missed that real good nugget that you dropped off, okay? Because notice how Brian said, look at this new watch I got. It's about $800. How you want to go fishing? I need everybody to recognize, especially for those new marketers or maybe the inexperienced one who's been doing it the wrong way. Recognize that when he said, I look at this new watch, it looks good, doesn't it? It was about $800. Hey, you want to go fishing? That little key nugget right there, hey, you want to go fishing, is going on, and it's going to take their attention off of that watch. But see, their subconscious already has picked this up. And this is where the deals are made. This is where purchases are made, in the subconscious. So you don't have to keep pounding on it because, like Brian said, he switched the subject. But you're wondering, now that watch is hot, and it was $800. And how the heck did he afford that? Like, that's what you're thinking about. You can care less about fishing.
Because he never works. He's always
He
fishing.
never works. So, yeah, that was a good nugget, Brian. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, and you actually brought up something that's going to lead me into, boy, you're good. It's like we rehearsed this, Brian. I'm telling you. So, you and I, we share a belief in strong mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to how you built that mindset over time? And also, when you first became a marketer, would you say that you were operating more on faith than mindset? And to what do you attribute that biggest aid in building your strong mindset? There was a lot of questions in that, but
Yeah, and I'm going to answer that the best way that I know how. I'm a believer in God. I know there's a greater force in this universe. You believe whatever you believe. I'm not here to argue or convince you of anything, but I just don't believe two rocks hit each other and all this stuff happened. I think there is a creator, and I had faith somewhat. I know when I first started in marketing, it was all blind faith because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And it wasn't until later that I realized I was making progress just because I was taking action. So now I realize action means progress. So now I'm active, okay? But back then I was very active, but I was just running on blind faith. I just had this feeling inside of me that I knew this was what I was supposed to do. I knew I was supposed to work for myself, and I knew everything would be okay. Christina, you still with us? We might have lost Christina, guys.
no, I'm here.
Okay, good deal. But I just knew everything was going to be okay, and I remember probably about 3 months before I quit my job, I picked up a book by Robert Kiyosaki called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. My family's very blue collar. Get out of high school, go to work forever, do the best job you can, live humbly. I came from a middle class family. I always had what I wanted and what I needed, but my dad worked all the time. I would have been the first person to have ever went to college in my family. I graduated high school with honors. I went to Tennessee Tech University for 3 weeks and 2 days, and I decided I'd rather be out riding my motorcycle. So I got up and I left. But when I read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that's probably the first book that I had ever really read. I did a ton of book reports, but I'm kind of like reading a book from cover to cover, the front cover and the back cover.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I did things. So I never really read a lot. I hated reading, but when I read that book, it opened my eyes to so many things I'd been longing for and trying to figure out, and it really became an addiction. I wanted to learn more, and I wanted to learn more, and I wanted to learn more, and I wanted to learn more. And now I'll read 1 to 3 books a month because I can't get enough of it. Now I realize that everything balances on your mindset. Everything balances on how you interact or how your relationship is with your inner voice, your subconscious. Trust me, if you think you're going to get sick, you're probably going to get sick. And I always thought that was the biggest load of hogwash I'd ever heard in my life. Now I know your thoughts will become reality. The more you concentrate on those, the more you think about those, the more you turn into a positive person, the more you work on your self-confidence, the more great things will just fall into your lap. I don't know how to explain it. I really don't. I just know it's extremely freaking important, and you need to work on mindset. If you don't do anything else in your business, every day you need to work on your mindset. You need to work on what I call your faith. You need to know that you've got this purpose in life, and you need to know you can do anything you set your mind to. Did you hear what I said? You can do anything you set your mind to. So the sooner you learn mindset and the sooner you set your mind to doing those things, the quicker it's going to happen. And you won't even be able to explain how it happened. You won't even know. You'll just be like, crap, this is working, you know?
It's working.
And it's an awesome thing. You know, I
Yeah.
wish I would have got into mindset seriously about 4 years earlier. And I mean, took mindset seriously. I heard everybody talking about it, but, you know, I'm just like you sitting there. I was thinking, what, you know, reading a book ain't going to make me no money. And no, it ain't reading the book. It's growing yourself. It's growing yourself into somebody that the universe knows can handle the abundance that it's fixing to hand over to you.
Yeah. Because all of us, I'm sure, Elroy could probably say the same thing. We're in this game still because of our mindset. Because there's been ups and downs, and there's going to be ups and downs to come. But it's
Absolutely.
that mindset. It doesn't even really matter how the how of getting there, because your mindset is so strong. You're going to work your way through that.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
it. You're going to take action. When you have that deep-rooted desire to do what you want to do, to accomplish what you want to accomplish, and you really know beyond the shadow of a doubt that it's going to happen, the how-to doesn't even matter. You just get up every day and you take action,
Now
and it'll happen.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Now
no, I was done.
that kind of makes me. It was a question that I hadn't I wasn't gonna ask, but that made me think about, when you first start off in a business, typically network marketing, MLM, direct sales, you know, they tell you about being ignorance on fire.
Hmm.
Ignorance on fire. Uh,
I know a
can I,
lot of people like that.
yeah, yeah. I want you to take just a couple of minutes, real quick, and speak to that real quickly for me.
I don't think you should be ignorant about your company and about your profession. I think you ought to learn. But I just talked to a gentleman today about something new that I got into. I've not even released it publicly. I'm actually doing a whisper campaign right now. I'm actually reaching out to people that I know are going to get this, and they're going to join me in business. And he started asking, well, what about the comp plan? Well, is it a binary? Is it a matrix? And I was like, I don't know. Here's what I know: you recruit people, you make money. Here's what I know: there's no hoorah meetings and hotel meetings. Here's what I know: you can do it all from the internet very easily.
Mhm.
It's easy for people to get signed up. That's all I know. All I know is I'm doing this thing. Are you going to go with me or not? You don't have to know everything. If people have a ton of questions, flip them to your upline. Let your upline do the work. Don't necessarily be ignorant about your business, because there's some people that you just got to shoot straight. You just got
Yeah.
to tell them, man, this is a triple layered binary matrix that crawls out of the roof at 7 different directions, and you got to be able to explain all that stuff, okay? Because
Mhm.
some people are just like that. But for the majority, the less you talk, the better off you're going to be. You have the tools in place. When somebody says, well, what kind of comp plan is there? Well, I don't really know much about the comp plan. What I know is the lady that I joined with was actually in my downline in my last network marketing company, and she's made $8,000 the past 2 months. And I know what she did to get there, but I have no idea how that all works out. To be honest with you, when you sign up with me, I'm just going to have to call her and ask what to do because I don't know. Yeah, it's that new. It doesn't really matter. People that come up with 1,000 different questions are really looking for an excuse. People that want to get in business with you and they trust you and they know you're going to lead them in the right direction, they're going to have a few questions, obviously. I mean, anybody's going to have a few questions. I had a few questions, before I got involved. But, there comes a point where you talk too much and you lose the sale, period. Let the tools do the work. Just be passionate about it. Just be passionate about what you're going to do with it, and that'll bleed into other people. Don't try to convince them about how great they're going to be at it because, in all reality, they may suck at it. Who knows? Let them make that decision. If they think they're going to suck at it, you don't want them signing up anyway.
There you go.
Yeah, they're going to suck at it. They're going to quit anyhow. So.
There's some nuggets from Brian McDaniel. Now, look, Brian, I actually was thinking we'd cap this off at about 30 minutes, but we're a little over now, and I have a couple more questions that I really think will be very valuable. Do you mind to stick around for a couple more minutes?
Not at all. My hair still look okay. Everything good?
Yeah, you good and shiny by.
All right, sounds good. Let's roll with it.
So I was thinking about, particularly for network marketers and MLM direct sales distributors, building a strong organization of leaders is paramount for maximizing residual income. So
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you're very much a guy that supports his team, but also expects your team to figure it out, what do you say to the new marketer or even the experienced marketer who's done, a little bit too much hand holding in the past?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you say to them? Speak to why and how they can become the type of leader that they're wanting to attract.
I actually just had a conversation with a gentleman right before we got on this webinar, as a matter of fact, that has joined me in My Lead System Pro, and basically just flat out told him, look, this is all on you. I'm here. If you get stuck, reach out to me, but this is your business. This is all on you. So what I like to do is I like to be very upfront with people. The new gig I got into Thursday, my neighbor walks in my garage yesterday. Um, and he just out of the blue says, man, I'd like to learn more about what you do. I'm like, really? Ironically, I just got into a new thing. How about I send you some information? You can look at the information. I said, I'll follow up with you tomorrow. Is that cool? He said, yeah. I said, great. Have a look at this 7-minute video. I'll touch base with you tomorrow and we'll go from there. So I sent him a follow-up text today, and I said, hey, man, did you watch the video? And if so, are you interested in getting more information? We've got a webinar tonight at 8 o'clock that's going to go more in detail about all the specifics and the comp plan and all that stuff, because I don't know. I don't know. I just know that this thing has got me fired up and excited, and I work with hundreds of network marketing companies, so for me to say that means I found something that really fits where I want to be. And I told him, I said, hey, look, just so you know, it doesn't matter either way. I'm only looking for people that are self-motivated, that want to build residual income, and that want to have complete time freedom. If that's not you, you let me know. He texted back and he said, that's not me. And I said, probably not for you. Thanks for looking at it. Is there something else that might interest you? He said, yes. I referred him to another network marketer that did something that's more his cup of tea. So, I just be very upfront with people. Now, you're going to have to do a little bit of hand holding when you first get started. When you get a new rep on, you kind of need to let them know what to do. You kind of need to keep tabs with them. You may keep tabs with this person for 3 weeks. This person may get it. They may have been in network marketing before. Once they understand the basics of how the back office works, they're just going to run with it, okay? You may have to hold their hand for 3 months, okay? But if it comes to a point where they're calling you on every little thing they get stuck on, if they think that you're available 24/7, it's time to nip it in the butt right there and say, look, you got to figure this stuff out. You got to do this. One of my mentors told me one time, and this has always stuck with me, but he said, imagine riding a 2-seat bicycle. As long as you're pedaling, I'm going to pedal when I need to. You stop pedaling, I'm getting off.
That's a good one.
I'm done, So do that. If you've got somebody in your organization that's doing a lot of hand holding, again, just straight up tell them. I told a guy in my organization about 6 months ago, I said, look, Big, we've been doing this for 3 years together, and you're calling me over this? I said, enough's enough. I said, you got 2 choices. I said, you can either get your butt out there and you can start recruiting and you can start prospecting and you can start doing what you're telling everybody else on your team to start doing, or you can quit. That's your 2 options. You have everything in your possession you need to build a business. The only thing you're lacking is actually doing something instead of calling me to do it for you. Now, this was a very good friend of mine. We're still friends. I've got a good enough relationship with him that I could talk to him like that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't have a good relationship, understand if you're having to pull people, to force people, to convince people to hold their hand, you're never going to build a long-term income. This is all on you. You got to find people that are going to build their business and be there for general support. Get together with these people on a webinar type thing, where you can get 10 people together, do a conference call so you can say your message one time to all these people. But I guess the most important thing is if you don't want people that you have to hold your hand, get yourself to work. Show them how it's done and make it happen in your business, and just let them flat up no, turn your phone off.
They'll figure it out one way or another, right?
Turn your phone off. This guy, the guy that I was talking about, he would call me 8, 10 times in a row, send me a text, send me an email, panicking over stuff, and I just ignore him. And then I'd call him the next day and I'd be like, hey man, what's up? Well, I got it figured out myself. No thanks to you. Awesome. I'll let you go. I'll catch you next time you get in trouble or whatever. Call me.
It's kind of like a mother bird when she pushes the babies out of the nest. They fly.
Exactly.
They fly.
Exactly. And when you're doing something like myself and Christina and Elroy's doing, where we're creating multiple streams of income, it takes a lot of stress off of you when you are making money, so you can be that way with people. So you can let people know, look, I don't need your money. Sign up if you want to run with me and build yourself a business, but I ain't trying to sign you up just to make a little commission, just so you can quit in 3 months.
Guys, I hope everybody's paying attention because Brian is dropping some nuggets tonight. So what he's basically saying is don't be married to the outcome. Am I correct, Brian?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is something that I have recently come to learn and really take in, be really truly inside me, not be married to the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's regardless of whether or not I'm having a good month or I'm not having a good month. I'm not married to the outcome because I know that doesn't affect where I'm going.
Exactly. And you've got to relax. You've got to understand that just because things don't turn out exactly the way you planned them to doesn't mean things aren't working the way you need them to. When you can relax, it works a whole lot better because people can tell you're relaxed. People can tell real quick that I don't care whether you get in or not. It doesn't make any difference to me because I ain't going to hold your hand. This is all on you kind of deal. But when you're making money and you can relax, it works out a whole lot better. Trust me, okay? I'm just like one of them alpha wolves up in the mountain. I can smell fear on you. I can smell BS on you. I can smell desperation on you. And you can do the same with me. If I'm desperate, if I'm pushy, if I'm giving you a line of BS just to get you to sign up, people know it. People know it. So just be yourself. Let people be honest with their self. It's not really your job to convince. It's really your job just to sow seed. Some of those seeds are going to grow. Some of them are going to wither away. I mean, it just is. That's how it is.
Yeah. So now we're almost done, but I do want to talk to really quickly about the new person in business who might not feel like they have a lot of value to provide or a lot of experience in leadership. So going back to that question of time and value in your time, monetizing your time is certainly something that's relative. And for the new person, for the new marketer who may struggle with that, kind of speak to how you would go about suggesting that they begin to establish the value of their time, maybe even set prices for coaching and things like that.
Okay, had a similar conversation, like I said, right before I got on the phone with you, the gentleman that signed up with MLSP,
I
and
promise we did not practice this.
uh, he was talking about maybe helping some local businesses, to start out with to kind of learn some skills. Here's the thing: when you learn a skill, pick a skill, pick something that you're passionate about, and learn that skill. And the better and better you get at that skill, the more confidence you're going to have in that skill, and the more confidence you're going to have to tell somebody I'm $100 an hour. Okay. Now, you can't just start off there, right? So you're going to have to start doing a little bit of work for some other people or a little bit of coaching at some lower price rates, okay? Because you're not the most skilled in the world. Use that stuff to build more skill, to build some social proof, to build your self-confidence. Let people start talking about how you help them. And as you start to get busier and busier in your business, whether you want to or not, it's not going to make sense to work for $20 an hour anymore. It's just not. I told this gentleman, I said, if you want to start out doing local businesses, I said, you get into MLSP and you learn a strategy. You work on that skill and you build that skill. And then you find a few people that you can help. And I said, start out at $45 an hour. I said, you'll be 40 to 50% less than the competition. It'll allow you to grow. It'll get you some testimonials. You can prove you're getting results. You can get a little bit of a portfolio by doing those things. Now, you can still keep those clients because, come on, $45 an hour to do what you love is pretty good money. Would
Yeah.
you agree? I used to. Now, $45 an hour is just like, I don't know. I think I'll go fishing. You know,
Yeah.
once you get to that point where you're really specialized in that skill, then you can really start charging for the money because number one, you're worth it. Okay. And number two, you've got enough business right now that it's really not worth you to take on any more business unless you're making $100 an hour. Okay.
Mhm.
As you start building authority online and as you start getting exposure, and that's where MLSP comes in. A lot of people quit MLSP because they don't get this. They don't get why we're not promoting unicorn juice, we're promoting training. The reason to do that is to build authority and exposure. So as you start building authority and exposure and you tell somebody, yeah, I'll help you, it's $100 an hour, they don't fall out of their chair. More than
Right.
likely they're going, wow, that ain't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
And it's just a very easy transaction. You got to be right here in your mind. You got to be very comfortable with accepting money from people.
Right.
That's just what it's about.
And one of the things that you and Elroy and myself we share is the belief and the understanding of and the importance of the multiple streams of income, which
Hmm.
you know, like I'm like you, I don't understand why you would not stay in MLSP just because of that point.
Yeah.
Uh, so we're gonna wrap it up. I got one more question, and while I do, if anybody's watching live stream on Google Plus or anything, and you want to drop a question in, go ahead and drop a question in while I'm asking Brian this last question that I have, which is this, Brian. Think back to considering where you are now. What would Brian McDaniel now say to Brian McDaniel then when you were very first getting started as an entrepreneur, knowing what you know now?
I would say screw what everybody else thinks or says. Follow your heart. And as quickly as possible, you start growing yourself. I wish I'd have started reading mindset books 10 years earlier than I did because I didn't have anybody talking to me about that stuff. I wish I knew the advantages of being an entrepreneur 10 years earlier than what I did. I just, sometimes I feel like, man, I wasted so many years working at a job when I could have been building this business bigger and further and doing all this other stuff. But then other times I understand I didn't really start to learn all this stuff because I never grew as a person. I was never ready to accept the stuff that's going on now. So I would definitely tell myself to screw everybody else's thoughts and opinions. I'm telling you, you got to believe in yourself. You've got to have the heart of a champion to get out there and to let rejection bounce off of you, because you know and you believe in yourself and you know you're going to make this happen. Once you've made that decision and once you've made that commitment, I'd start soaking up as much personal development as you possibly can, period.
That's good stuff.
That's what I would have told myself with hair 10 years ago.
That's good stuff right there. Elroy, do you have any questions for Brian?
Unmute yourself. I got you muted.
Elroy?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
How's it going, my brother?
How you doing, my friend? You looking good, baby. Looking good, as always.
And thanks, man. You too, man. You're actually looking better.
It's the lights.
I don't know. Can you guys see me? I think it looks kind of dark right here.
Oh, we can see you pretty good. You all right?
Okay, yeah, man. Great job today, man. I was just listening to you and listening to what you're saying. I mean, it really makes sense about marketing and branding you. And I mean, you answer pretty good questions, man. And you know what? Like when I actually started, I used to brand the company, right? So we could all relate in that. That I mean, we don't know. We just have to just ourselves and learn as much as we can. I mean, as you said, your mind. You got in your mind first, because your mind is just like a garden, right? I mean, what you plant in there is gonna grow. I mean, sometimes you got. I mean, there's some weeds that showed up. Sometimes you just weed out and focus on where you're going and just keep pounding, man. I don't care what other people are saying, you know. And what you're saying about our relationship, I mean, that's very powerful too, because I didn't really get that concept when I started. I mean, a lot of people just come in the industry and just quit because they don't understand the process. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just like you want to be a doctor, okay? You go to school like for a month and wanna go out by yourself and start working on people. So
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand that. They don't have the long-term mindset. But it just gotta take time and develop yourself until you get that path to really go to where you want to go, right? I mean, it's pretty solid, man. I like this hangout that you guys are doing.
Absolutely. You know, you mentioned something about weeds growing in there. You know, guys, that don't ever go away. There's always
That's
stuff
right.
trying to creep in, okay? There's always negativity trying to creep in. You know, the sooner you can start letting go of some people in your life, pulling those weeds, and just accepting the fact that these people are now in your past. You know, get those weeds out of the way. You're going to have weeds come back. It's just like the cycle of the earth. You know, you pull the weeds up, 3 days later, there's another one. You just got to keep pulling those things up, and you got to figure out how to deter those things, which a lot of time is really protecting yourself from certain individuals out there. You know, individuals that spam their link 18 times a day on Facebook, you know. Now, here's another thing. Elroy, you said when you first got started, you didn't understand all that. So don't judge these people. Don't treat them rudely. If
That's right.
anything, reach out to them and say, hey, man, I've noticed your page. I don't know you. I know you sent me a friend request and 18 links. I had a lady the other day send me a message, and she said, hey, how you doing? I said, great. How are you? 64 messages in a row.
Wow.
Hey, I'm not even lying. 64 in a row talking about her company. And I was just like, you know, what do I do here? I don't want to be mean. I like this person. I really do. But I need to tell her, look, there's a different way. There's a better way. You know what I mean? So I just really asked her, hey, how's this working out for you? You having any success doing this kind of deal? Hadn't heard back from her. But a lot of times people will say, no, not really. You know, and use that to go ahead and build that friendship and help people. You know, I say that because I avoid it like the plague. I really do. But when given the opportunity and when I do have the time, I will reach out to that person because they may very well be new. They're probably just doing what their uplines taught them to do. So it's not like they're just automatic spammers. They just don't know. They've not had anybody with enough courage and with enough boldness to stand up and tell them, regardless of whether they take your advice or cuss you out.
And sometimes they stick around long enough. I mean, I've done that with the new person before, and I think we're a bit put off by me having the audacity to just, ask them that. But I've noticed that every platform I go on, even when I go onto a new social media platform that I haven't even shared with anybody, they're managing to find me.
Yeah.
So, that's okay because I'm dripping on them and something is resonating with them, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had people come out and say, I can't believe you're so rude. I never thought you'd be this rude. I'm like, I'm not being rude. I'm just telling you, this crap don't work. Not trying to be a prick. I'm just trying to be the one person in the world that has enough guts to be honest with you. You can take it how you want to, but, everybody starts somewhere. When I started in my business, Facebook was brand new, right? I didn't know anything about marketing on Facebook, much less an MLM on Facebook. So, I didn't have to deal with that problem. But now when people come online, they're just doing what they see all their other people doing. And, be the authority. Step out there and help these people and don't connect yourself to the outcome of how that conversation goes.
Well, I tell you what, this has been a fun hangout. I really appreciate it. And Brian McDaniel, your website is meetbrianmcdaniel.com, correct?
It is, meetbrianmcdaniel.com. If you want to find me on Facebook, you can go to meetbrianmcdaniel.com/Facebook. I'd love for you to get connected with me on Google+. That's meetbrianmcdaniel.com/G and the plus sign. So reach out to me, get connected with me. Love to chat with you.
Awesome. Well, Roy, you might as well throw your connection out there, too.
Well, I mean, if anyone want to get in contact with me, just hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Elroy.White. Okay, or they could hit me up on Gmail. No, actually, you can hit me up on my email, elroy@elroywhite.com. For now.
Sweet.
Awesome.
And I'm just going to save all of my contacts, and you'll just need to go down below in the description of the show notes, and I'll put all my contact information down there. In the meantime, this has really been a great hangout, Elroy. Jamaican up in Canada, by way of Canada, hanging out between the two Southerners here.
That's fine.
Elroy is actually a little more southern than we are.
Yeah.
No problem, brother.
Then he decided to go all the way up above the 48. So.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. It's been really fun. And we'll see you next time on my next hangout with another business person and getting some really good nuggets out there, okay?
Y'all be good. Appreciate you.
All right,
Be
take
good,
care.
there.